Now this is better. Is that me watching me or is that Elizabeth watching me? I saw Elizabeth earlier. This thing keeps putting me on stream instead of webcam. I'm not streaming anything. Well, hello, not from Rhode Island. And wouldn't Rhode Island, technically, wouldn't that be a bridge? Road to an island, a bridge? I don't know. But YouTube has got this going live thing just all screwed up. And then I tried StreamYard or something like that yesterday, and it's like a 10-second delay, and it's like, man, this is like watching a bad Jackie Chan movie or Bruce Lee movie. It's like terrible. So I had to get rid of that, but apparently I didn't get rid of it. It's still there. I'm the one that asked you to make the sandwich, not the other way around. You better be glad I didn't ask for a chicken pot pie. They take longer. With your pirate booty. Keep them britches pulled up, and nobody will ever know you got a pirate booty. Unless, of course, you're not wearing shoes and all the sand just kind of like falls out of your pants legs. I'm not buffering. I had three. I don't get it. I think the thing of it was StreamYard where you can put everybody's picture up on the screen at once and everybody talk. But I didn't like it. It's got a 10-second delay on audio and all that. And I tried it last night for about 10 minutes and I thought I deleted it off my computer. I reckon I'm going to have to do a little more research on it. But YouTube has changed everything around to where it is just, it goes straight to stream instead of webcam. And I use the webcam to do this. And it's just horrible. YouTube is like a liberal with KY jelly. It just slides right in, and you don't even know you've been screwed until it's over with. I wouldn't mind having a good homemade chicken pot pie. I haven't had one of those in a while. Yeah, I'm Chevy Chase, and you're not. It was my reference to certain classic Saturday Night Live. Ah, there's one less mosquito in the world. I got him. Well, now Chevy Chase did have his moments. You remember the movie National Lampoon's Vacation or whatever, where he was constantly looking at Christy Brinkley driving in the car beside him. Yeah, he was a little bit dirty there. Maybe you should try exiting and then coming back in, and maybe this will be the only live stream up. I forgot what I titled it, but you should be able to find it. Yeah, Christmas Vacation was good as far as sequels go, because to me, nothing. I've only seen one or two sequels that beat the first movie, and the first National Lampoon's Vacation. That is one of my favorites. I love it. And I'm a little bit aggravated because the lawnmower that I borrowed from somebody I've got to fix now because it decided it wanted to snap a little this little rod like thing. They only cost like $3, but hell, I don't have $3. I don't have a job yet because they haven't paid me for my peanut job. Let alone contacted me, sent me my card. So come Monday, I will sit down since they don't want to give out email addresses, and I don't like using telephones to begin with. But they gave the president of the company's address. I will be writing him a nice, very calmly worded letter, and I will choose my words very carefully about how disappointed I am that all of us who inspect peanuts, we do it every year for a reason. We need money. And if you're going to take money from people who are less well off than you're a piece of shit. And then I'm going to talk to the Department of Agriculture in the state, and I'm going to talk to the United States Department of Agriculture because I've got all the addresses whenever it comes to peanuts. I'm going to get my damn $200 because the peanut season doesn't officially start till the 15th, and it's been over 20 days since I heard from them. Oh yeah, Dan Aykroyd is one of my favorites too. But John Belushi, oh, I'd watch any movie that had John Belushi in it. I like his brother Jim, but Jim is no John Belushi. Animal House is one of my favorites of all time. Hey, Stacy's making sandwiches. Anybody else want one? She's starting to do an Elizabeth thing. She's been stalking me on YouTube all day or all last night and today. And she's got a pirate booty. She told me she did. I ate steak and cheese. Oh, a steak and cheese burrito. That sounds pretty good. I just got through with some fried cube steak, and I saved one big piece for tomorrow so that I can smother it in gravy and put some rice or either some mashed potatoes with it. Oh, that's gonna be so good with some green beans. Mm-mm-mm. No, I don't want my sandwich sandy and salty. Just you know, a little bit of I am from the South, I'm sorry, a little bit of Duke's mayonnaise and some spicy brown mustard with lettuce and tomato and I don't know, let's just say what do I want ham or salami? We'll just go with some nice Black Forest ham. Uh I'll see what I can do about deleting the chat on this thing. I'll have to figure that out. But you could probably go through there and erase it yourself now because I don't really do much with email. And if it ain't Duke's, Hellman's is next. But I like my Dukes first. Well, if she's already got it, I'll see what I can do about going ahead. You ought to be able to do it yourself. You got a Blue Ranch. Let's see, where'd it go? There it is. Oh, that dang it. That ain't it. We'll figure this out in a second. No, that didn't work out the way I had planned it to. We'll unhide you now. Well, it's gone now, so man, it took away all your messages and it took away the Blue Ranch. We got to put the Blue Ranch back at least. I read most of the messages. There we go. Blue Ranch should be back next time you post. Yeah, I accidentally deleted all of your stuff. I thought it was just going to delete the one post whenever you do the little three dots beside it. No, it deleted all of them. Yeah, I got lost too. I got lost in the cyber world. I don't know what's going on. Let's see, we got Elizabeth, we got Stacy, we got Thrifty. That's three. I'm pretty sure they're lumping me in with this participation thing because there's 5 folks watching. And it's only saying that me and Thrifty BG are participants. But yet I see everybody else's name. How did these people show up on here, but yet you can't find out who they are? Hey, Jim. Well, you're unhid now, Elizabeth. Even had to give you the Blue Ranch back. But we took care of the email problem. Yeah, and I think there's a few that don't chat and they just listen. And I don't know why they don't chat because it's a whole lot more funny whenever you actually chat back and forth because that's what makes comedy and hilarity. Yeah, I'm seeing 5. We got Stacy, we got Thrifty, we got Jim, we got Elizabeth, and I guess I'm number 5. But I decided I would do a live stream tonight because Deep South Homestead always does theirs at this time, and I wanted to see if I might be able to get a few of their people over. And nah, I don't see any names I recognize that go over there, but their talk was boring tonight. They're always about prepping for the solar minimum and making life easier for whenever you get older. And it's like, dude, move to the nursing home already. Install ramps on your house so you can roll up in your wheelchair. I mean, come on, quit being such a party pooper. Yeah, you're right. There is nothing easy. Yeah, and they showed their pantry where it's like 2 years worth of canned food. I mean, come on. There are plenty of people on this planet. There are almost 7 billion people. If the crops don't grow, we got enough Chinese to support us for at least 4 or 5 years until the weather comes back to where we can actually get back into agriculture. We're not going to starve. If Chinese can eat dogs, we can eat Chinese. I'm just saying. I ain't going to starve. Ain't nothing like a little leaf, a nice little bite of leaf. Although if the agriculture's not doing so hot, what kind of side dishes would we have with him? I don't know. We'll figure it out. God says, "Be as the lilies in the of the field; they toil not, nor do they spin." You are absolutely correct. I do not worry about anything. All I worry about is having enough to eat now and the rest of the year. So I only grow enough for a year, and that's it. If it lasts longer than a year, then I'd cut back a little bit next year. I don't have to work near as hard. The good Lord didn't. All right, now let's stop with the mayonnaise. You're making me hungry again. But the Lord didn't mean for us to work all the time. Oh, Papa Pepper, that is cool as heck. I hope you got it on video. Because it's not every day you get to hold an egg that actually hatches, no matter what it is. But that is cool as heck. Oh, I'll be waiting for it. I'll be checking it out whenever it comes up. So how'd that bow fishing go last night? Did you get you a few carp? Because I sure hope you had a good night with the bow fishing. Map turtles are pretty good. Snapping turtles taste pretty good. Now we don't have buffalo fish here unless you're talking about bass. And actually, in South Georgia, we don't have very many smallmouth bass. The water's just too hot. But that's pretty good aim if you got two water moccasins, because those are some pretty hard to hit little things. Although they do float up on top of the water instead of sink below it, so you ain't got to aim low. You can aim dead at it. But I hope they made it to the freezer or either to the campfire, and you went ahead and ate them. Oh, we've got suckerfish here. Some of them get to be about a foot, foot and a half long. Lots of bones in them, so nobody really wants to eat them. But if you don't mind picking the bones out, or if you cook them under pressure to where the bones kind of break down, the meat's really tasty. Well, I'm glad you stopped in. I always appreciate it whenever you do. Have you been out to see Bobblehead lately? I've caught a couple of Jeff's videos, and his place is coming along pretty good. It's starting to look like a real home. Which I haven't talked to him lately. I got to actually send him a message and tell him it's starting to look pretty good out there. But thanks for stopping in, Papa. Good talking to you, and glad you had a good time last night. I wish I could have seen the look on those kids' faces when the eggs hatched. That would have been the icing on the cake. That would have made my day. Something that amazing. Only thing interesting I did today was set up a deer stand. Archery season starts next week, and I'm letting a friend of mine set up his deer stand on my land to do a little archery hunting with. Because with my back, I can't do it anymore. But what he don't know is 2 weeks after archery season starts, black powder starts, and Morgan can still pull a trigger, and he's got good aim. I'm fixing to go deer hunting in his stand. Yeah, after I've got a compressed fracture of my T6 vertebrae, and it's in the dead center of your back, so I can't. I might be able to do a 40 or a 45 pound bow, but that would mean I'd have to be within like 20 yards of a deer, and I'm not going to take the chance on that. Although one day I might decide to pick up a crossbow and do it that way. 3 you're all right. We were just talking about getting ready for deer season. It's coming up, and I'm ready to put a little bit in the freezer. Patty's lonely, or what's left of Patty's lonely. And if I don't kill a deer, I got some goats out there in the pen. I'll just kill one of them and call it a deer. I walked around my garden today for the first time in a couple of weeks, and oh my Lord, the morning glory has just invaded everything. I've got to figure out how to get my goats over to the garden spot, get them fenced into it where they can't get out, and let them spend about a week and a half, 2 weeks in there eating that down. Because I didn't get out, and I was going to get out there today and work on my garden tiller because I got to get the tines to start rotating for it to crank up. But my local small engine repair guru, who lives at the little church down about a third of a mile down the road, he had a lot going on. His granddaughter's got pneumonia really, really bad. Her blood sugar dropped down to 40. Her red blood cells shot up to 25. Her white blood cells went through the roof. And I'm thinking, you're telling me this? And I'm like, oh my Lord, please don't let them find out this kid has leukemia. That would just kill him. But luckily, it was pneumonia, and they've got her home, and they're busy with her, and they do gospel sings, and they were practicing today, and he was supposed to come down here and help me get the lawnmower I got to fix going again, and he was going to help me get the tiller going again, but that would just have to wait till another day. It's not as important as a grandchild. I don't put my lives and stuff on Facebook. I have very few friends on Facebook unless I went to high school with you, or unless you were a part of my growing up, you don't make it to Facebook. Although Elizabeth might, because she's a stalker and she'll probably get mad if I don't. I haven't decided yet on that, but I really don't do a whole lot on Facebook. But I have thought about setting up a Twitter account and doing it on Twitter or something. But you know, people that know me from high school, they're really not going to watch. Most of them, they're all busy and they're scattered all over the world, from the Sea of Japan, flying off carriers to who knows where. There's a couple of them in Europe. I don't tweet. I don't Snapchat. I don't do none of that stuff. And Facebook is just for communication with close friends. I don't even bother advertising this on Facebook, which I don't know much about Facebook, but I know it's not to be trusted. Them people right there are some crooked people, and they'll steal your information. But that was pretty cool seeing Papa Pepper here. You don't see him over at Deep South Homestead very often. But then again, the guy is just so likable. Although I got a feeling he's like me. If you mess with his family, you're gonna wind up fertilizing his garden. Now I do have. I'm a member of the one group, the small homesteaders or whatever. I wonder if I could post them there. And I really don't want to get into managing two different Facebook accounts. I mean, I've got 5 or 6 YouTube accounts, but that's only because it's automatic on my phone, and all I got to do is every day I push somebody else, and I can let them watch or let that account watch my videos all day long and get some watch time in. I finally broke 60,000 minutes. So that's what, 100 hours? Yeah, 100 hours. I don't know. I'm not good at math. So that's 100 out of 4,000 hours. Ain't that what we're supposed to have? 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscribers. You'd think it would be 4,000 subscribers and 1,000 hours. But then again, you really, in honesty, I mean, come on. They're only doing it so they can make money off of you instead of you make money at all. And I don't know of anybody else other than Patreon, which is part of you or YouTube, that will actually monetize or do anything. BitChute, they don't pay none of that. 5K minutes, you're catching up to me. Well, see, you've been doing a lot more than I have lately. I've caught a few of your videos, you saran wrapping fool. But 240,000 minutes. Let's see, 6 goes into 24. 4 times? Yep, 4,000 hours and 1,000 subs. And it ought to be about half that. and they ought to be all about free speech, but they're not. You say the wrong thing, they boot you. Oh no, I've only got 100 hours. And even if I got to 4,000 hours, which most of my maintenance comes from stuff like this, I still got to come up with another 850 people to subscribe. All right, Thrifty, just be careful. Wear shoes because if it's wet and you step in it, it's not the dog's fault. It's yours. uh, yeah. Although I don't know if he is actually watching because there's a little circle going across it. But I can probably type a message if I can get my fingers to work. I keep hitting G instead of H. Yep, my friend Kayla Craven. I borrowed her name. She doesn't know it, but it's the only thing I use her name for is this. So Kayla has no idea. I'm assuming they didn't get their power on because I didn't see anything about them in their Friday nights. So it might be a few more days before they get it because parts of North Carolina they got a pretty good whomping. They got beat up pretty good. And that's something that I want to invest in one day is a nice generator. If not, then I want to invest in a natural gas refrigerator and freezer and a natural gas heating and cooling and also lights. That way I don't have to worry about none of that stuff. As long as my tank's full, I'm good to go and I ain't got to worry about it. But everybody says, oh, it's all total electric, total electric. Yeah, you idiot. What happens when the power goes out? You're totally in the dark. I've never believed in having one heat source. I prefer to have either a wood burning stove or a gas heater along with electric. And I like a gas stove. That way, if the electricity goes out, it still works. The same thing with the hot water heater, it still works. I don't do that total electric thing. That's just stupid. And people are going to find that out soon enough because they'll just keep on having these hurricanes and things go through and wiping out 35 and 40,000 homes of electricity. And I don't know, in the last 100 years, we have become an ignorant society. Elizabeth Kayla's not going to say anything else unless I make her. Kayla's actually one of my very good friends, and I'm just using her name as an account for YouTube just to get watch time. Because sometimes whenever I go to bed, I'll leave my phone on and I'll leave my laptop on with one account, one with another account, and I'll just put it on all videos and let it go all night. Now, if I can just get things going again and get back on track to making videos and getting some subscribers, I'll be all right. I ain't trying to get rich off YouTube, but if it would pay my power bill, I'd be fine. If it'd pay my internet bill, I'd be fine, or my car insurance. Just pay a bill. I mean, this is a fun hobby, but sometimes whenever a hobby sucks up more of your time and money than it is worth, then you got to give it up. And I waited long enough to get back to where I felt like doing this. Turning your phone on too. Double your pleasure. Let's watch it twice at the same time. Which reminds me, I, I watched this YouTube channel called Think Like a Cop, and he had this story on there today to where two people got a DUI at the same time for driving the same car because they were both drunk in the driver's seat. She was sitting in his lap and they hit a light pole. Who would have ever thunk that would have happened? But true story. There are some crazy people in the world. Well, hello, sunshine. Sorry, my face got all big and pointed at you like that. Just a little bit far. I don't have my glasses on, but we're glad you dropped by. Elizabeth, is that your Kayla? Hey, it counts. And I've done it on your account whenever I've watched you wrap lettuce and stuff like that. I've had it on the phone and the laptop. So I know how hard it is to get to 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscribers. So well, tell your friend I said thank you. Well, now you have a use for it. It'll help you out and get you some watch hours. I haven't used Yahoo in so long. It is unreal. I need to go back and check it out to see if they still have the chat rooms where you could go in and talk privately amongst yourselves and all that, and video chat and everything. which I always use Google now, and I don't even know if Google does that. I know you can get on YouTube and do it, but YouTube is so persnickety, they got to have rules about everything. What's to say that me and some old gal didn't want to just, fool around a little bit because we couldn't see each other, but it's just crazy. YouTube and Google are two of the most left wing organizations I've ever met. They don't believe in freedoms and liberties. All they want is their own way, like Walmart. Now they're not going to sell handgun ammunition or short barreled rifle ammunition, and they're going to quit with a lot of their other stuff. And you know what? That's fine with me because all you're doing is making yourself look good. You sell less than 2% of the ammunition and firearms in this country. Less than 2%. And look how many guns we have in this country. So you're not hurting my feelings because I don't buy from you, no how. And all they're trying to do is make themselves look good. Google had hangups and they deleted it this year. YouTube is deleting their messages. Yeah, I saw that. Pretty soon we'll be left with nothing but Skype. And I'm sorry I don't Skype. My phone doesn't have that much memory to be Skyping. And until my battery completely dies and it won't charge anymore, I'm not buying another phone. But Walmart, they're just pandering to the liberal left to make themselves look good with their 4,700 stores or 47,000 stores or whatever. You ain't hurting my feelings. And you and your open carry don't do the open carry in Walmart or Kroger. Those are the people you ain't got to worry about. Everybody knows they got a gun. They'll stay away from them. It's that some bitch that's got a gun in his pocket that you don't know about that's gonna kill you. Which then again, I'm that some bitch with a gun in my pocket because I'm gonna kill you if you start killing other people. I just don't advertise that I got a gun in my pocket. I don't want folks to know I got a gun because then I know if they're going to start shooting, they're going to go somewhere else, and then I got to go chase them down and kill them. Yeah, you can. I do video chat on Facebook once in a while with a friend of mine. I forgot about that. Yeah, in 2015, they blamed it on some kind of shortage, but yet they had plenty of other ammunition. So now, whenever I need a box of ammunition, I buy two. And whenever I use one box and I need another box of ammunition, I go buy two. And then I've got two put up. But I'm trying to get into reloading because my two favorite rifles are every time I pull the trigger is $2. And $2, that's pretty expensive. It ain't like $65 to shoot a 50 caliber Barrett, which I'm not going to buy a 50 caliber Barrett. But I do like a good rifle with a good sound bullet that I can take a shot at a mile away if I want to. And I'm learning that. slowly but surely I'm learning that and how to do it. But hand loading's where it is, and really you don't save any more money. You just get to shoot more. They either have a loaded down backpack or they're wearing a jacket in the middle of the summertime or their pockets got a funny bulge. If you watch people around you, you can tell what they got in their pockets. Three 380, I've never had a problem getting a hold of, and that's my second favorite. Well, actually, it's my top handgun round to go. My go-to handgun round because 9 millimeter is 9 millimeter by 19 millimeter shell casing. A 380 is 9 millimeters by 17 millimeter casing. So, what's the real difference? There's not a lot of difference. And the 380 has a much better rate of success than the 9 millimeter that everybody always calls 9 millimeter. So other than that, I use my next go to is the 45, and it's either 45 ACP or 45 long colt. Either one of them doesn't matter. And then it would have to be 357 because that's a showstopper in itself. Plus, if you're poor and you can't afford 357, you can always fire 38 special in it. Though there's a lot of us out there, but YouTube won't monetize them. Like Hickok 45, he does a lot with shooting sports and stuff like that, and showing you new rifles and old rifles and and how they work. But he doesn't get his money from YouTube. They won't monetize him. He gets his money from sponsors, which is what I need to do is go out and find me some sponsors. But Federal gives him all the ammunition he wants to shoot. He's got a couple gun shops, online gun shops that they send him guns to shoot and show off, and then whenever he sends them back, they put them on auction, and 10% of it goes to charity and stuff like that. And there's lots of us out there. It's just YouTube don't want to pay them. So why would they want to do it if they're not going to get money? I got a 30-30 that I ought to have my behind over there taking apart right now, figuring out what's wrong with it instead of doing this. But this is a whole lot easier. But if I can't sleep late tonight, then I'll be over there taking the screws out of it. Oh, Hickok 45's got over 1 million. I like the Red Hawk better. It's got a nicer look to it. It looks more like the Wild West guns. But if I have to pick a Ruger that I can have, I'm taking the Ruger Vaquero because that really looks more like a Colt Peacemaker, which is what I want. Yeah, it is double action. That's the one thing I hate about revolvers is they're double action. You got to cock it or whatever. That's why I like my semi-autos. I don't have to do anything. I can just pull the trigger, or I can cock the hammer and then pull the trigger. But once it's been fired, it's not double action anymore. It's single action. And the trigger is all the way to the back and it's easy as pie to pull. This 380's a hog killer. How do you think Patty got in the freezer? I shot her twice in the top of the head. Once would have done it, but I believe in double tap. Bang, bang. Man, it's going to take me a year to smoke this cigarette. Let's see who's participating in chat. I know it's just me and you. Thrifty left hers on. Elizabeth, you don't exist. You're not there. Elizabeth, tell your friend who Patty is. You can explain to her where bacon comes from. That reminds me, I still got that pork belly in the freezer. I need to take it out and let it thaw and go ahead and make bacon out of it. Now, I did have Instagram for a while, but I was getting stupid pictures from people I didn't know and I didn't care about, so I just deleted it. Yeah, that's what it tells me for watching, but it's only me and you that they list as participants. That's all right. I'll take the watch time. But I'm hoping maybe tomorrow after my friends come by and pick up some sheetrock they've got stored here, I can get to my mom and dad's. And if I can get about $20 or $30 for gas, I can just show up where they're doing that peanut training and say, I appreciate you letting me know. Where's my pay card? It should have been here 3 weeks ago and it ain't. They're stealing from me, and I'm still mad about that. Oh, is Jim back? Yeah, there he is. I see it now. No worries, Jim. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I did it with about 5 headed chicken a few weeks ago. I murdered the crap out of them and then threw them in the garden and covered them up because I didn't feel like butchering them. Yeah, Kayla's here. She just ain't saying nothing. Which I don't understand why the screen on her phone is just going round and round like it's buffering, but unless they figured out it's me. Nah, I ain't worried about it. Damn it, it went out again. I'll be quit smoking before you know it. Take one puff and it goes out. But tomorrow I've got to figure out how to get the goats over into my garden spot and let them eat that down instead of just me till it all up. Which I got to work on my tiller anyway. I got to get the tines to rotate so that way it'll crank. Yeah, and if I only knew who Big Brother was, I would probably go egg his house. It's already got electric fence around it. I just got a couple places where I've repurposed the wire for other uses that I've got to patch up. So once I get it patched up, I'll put them in there and let them go. And I see all these people with goats and how they always put fresh water out every day. Dump out the water from the day before and they put fresh water in their bowl and or their dish or their bucket or whatever they do it. You know what? I have filled up a water trough twice this entire summer for those goats that I have. They won't drink water. I know they don't get it out the pond because they won't go nowhere near the pond. And if I fill the container up, they'll go over and get a swallow or two out of it, and that's the last they drink out of it. The rest of it, they get their moisture from the grass they eat. So I'm thinking, why the hell am I here every day with a water hose? So I quit. And the chickens, they don't drink the water out of the bowl that I got for them. They eat enough green grass. And then they stay in the shade. It keeps them going. And I'm like, oh well, easier for me. Yeah, they usually do get up early in the morning and start off eating. And in the middle of the night, because when they used to get out quite a bit, it would wake me up because they'd be up on the front porch rubbing across the house, scratching their behinds, waking me up, making me want to shoot them. But they're worth a whole lot more than a chicken, so I didn't shoot them. Although I do have a fellow who wants the goats, and I want sheep, and he's about two and a half. He's about 2 hours away, and he's looking into getting some sheep to trade me for the goats. And I told him since I got three goats that if he'd get me two ewes and a ram, I'd give him all three of my goats, and we'll all be happy. If not, then I'm just going to buy a buck, and I ain't even going to separate them. I'm just going to let them breed. And whenever they drop a kid, they drop a kid. And whenever it gets about 75, 80 pounds, I know a Catholic church in town that nothing but Mexicans. I got a place to sell them. It ain't no problem. I can get rid of a goat in a heartbeat. I've got just a little over 2 acres. Well, you must have made him really mad if he ain't been home in that long. But I figured with 2 acres and me only occupying a half an acre of it, garden included, I can probably I can probably do 10 or 15 sheep or goat a year. Well, shouldn't you be in Florida with him? The weather's nice down there. There's always a breeze. Excuse me, guys. Last 2 or 3 days, I've gotten a cough again, and I hope I'm not getting sick because I don't want any more sickness. I've had enough this year. It's been bad enough. Well, you can't leave him here because I got two, and that's more than I need. Because if that one keeps on chasing my chickens, he's fixing to be a goner. And he got up in the cabinet. I don't know how he opened the cabinet door from the countertop and got into my bag of goat colostrum. Me and him's not on speaking terms. Sell Kitty is about to be kick Kitty. Nah, it's all right, Jim. Things happen. People got stuff to do. It always and always at the wrong time. We're trying to figure out how to Elizabeth can slip down to Florida to be with her man and take all her cats and keep them in suitcases where nobody will nobody will know she's got them. Yeah, it won't be long before I got to go over there and take that rifle apart and see what's wrong with it and fix it. Ooh, 4 weeks. Let me guess, you got the calendar with the big black X every day. Put an X on it. You're marking the days off. But I'm by no means a gunsmith, or at least not a trained gunsmith. But once I get into one, I can figure out what to do with it. Like I told the other one, put your shoes on, because if you step in something wet, it's not the cat's fault or dog or whatever it is. I'm assuming cat, since you mentioned cats and suitcases. Now let me take this for my coffin. Get that over with. Oh, now she's calling me a dog. I can't believe she called me a dog. I thought we were friends. At least she didn't call me a bitch. I've been called that many times by many people. Yeah, but Jim, last night I tried this new StreamYard or some program to where you can have a bunch of people on the screen at one time talking, but it's got a 10-second delay, and I don't know about that thing. It's either I'll have to play with it and figure it out, or either I'm just going to have to stick to the old fashioned way with the webcam on this, because I know it works. It's tried and true. But it would be nice to have, 5 or 6 people all on the same screen where you can all see each other and you can all talk and hear each other. And that was the whole reason why I downloaded the thing to try it out. But maybe I'll figure it out. But it's not going to be tonight, because when we get through here, I'm pulling out my screwdrivers. I got a 3030 over there that somebody told me would take $200 to fix, and it was made in 1980, and I just don't see it happening. I see the parts costing about $25 to replace the lever, so I'm going to take it apart, see what's going on the inside, and then I'll figure out if I want to use it as a wall hanger, which I've already had a guy offer me $100 for it, and I didn't pay but $100 for it, so I wouldn't be losing anything. But we'll see how it goes. But I'd like to get it fixed back up, because I'm an amateur gunsmith. I've never had any classes or anything like that, but I can take them apart and see what needs to be replaced and order it and get it and put it in and stuff like that. I can re-blue, refinish, polish the whole 9 yards. I'm just not certified. And And I've thought about doing that, but there's no gunsmith around where I can apprentice in the area that I know of right offhand, just within driving distance, that would actually, give me a part-time job and then teach me how to do all that stuff. Man, it'd take me a week to clean all of mine. I've got one, two, three, four, five, six in arm's reach right now. And then my dad's, I've got one, two, three, four, five, six more there. So if I started cleaning, I'd be there I'd be there all day. But I've got my eye on another pistol. Oh, and I've got two in the pawn shop. I had to pawn two because I didn't have the money whenever I ran across the Rolling Block 22 made in 1890. Doesn't even have serial numbers on it. And I love that thing. So I got to get those two out of pawn for long. But the guy's a pretty good guy. And the 30-06 is a Model 74 Remington. I don't mind losing it. If it's a 7400, yeah, I mind that because that's one of the old ones. It's really well built compared to the newer stuff. But the other one's my Enfield 303, and I don't want to lose it because I've had it over 15 years and it'll drive tax. So I've got to come up with some way of getting that. Yeah, I did count my 8 millimeter. Yeah, I got a German K98 Mauser over there too. Now, as far as it goes, I've got all three of the major rounds from World War II: the 30-06, the 303, and the 8 millimeter Mauser. The 8 millimeter Mauser is by far the better round. But now a 30-06 is smaller than a 308, and everybody talks about 308s being the best sniper rifles. No, 30-06 is because they don't bother looking at the bullet speed and all that. If it's not going 1,200 feet per second whenever it gets to where it's supposed to be going, forget it. You ain't even in the ballpark. 30-06 is not my favorite round by far, but it is a pretty hot round, and you can tailor make it the loads to it, and it will outperform a 308 any day of the week. It'll outperform a 303 any day of the week. But now the 8 millimeter Mauser is actually a 32 caliber, and it's a little bit bigger, and it's got some warmth behind it, which that's what I'm going to be deer hunting this year. I'll be using that, and I'll be using my 50 caliber Hawk. And I love black powder because sometimes I'll take my black powder. I always keep a can of it around. I'll take a little scoop out and I'll pour it on the ground, and I'll get me a piece of paper and light it, and I'll stick it down to it just so I smell the smoke. I love the way it smells. Yeah, that's where I got the idea from. I need to talk to him to find out how he gets it all going. Yes, a 10-second delay, and I don't like that. Are you talking about the muzzle loading Navy 45? I used to have one of those. I loved it. Which 45 are you talking about? You talking about 1911? Personally, I love a 1911. 1911 is a really good gun, but a 380 is actually more deadly than a 911 with that 45. But I do love that 1911. It's a sweet shooting gun. But then again, it also depends on which brand you get too. There are so many different brands of them. Half of them ain't worth a shit. If I'm having a 1911, it's either going to be Springfield Armory, Rock Island Armory, or it's going to be Colt. And by far, I prefer Colt. And I do not want a California 45. They've got extra parts in them for safety. No, I need some hot tea with honey and brandy. That way, after the first couple of them, I won't give a damn about the brand, about the tea. I'll just go for the brandy or some good whiskey. I do love a good Kentucky bourbon. Nothing like the kicking chicken. Wild turkey is one of my favorites because I can't afford Maker's Mark. Although I do miss drinking Maker's Mark. That's so good, so smooth. But I'm not much of a drinker anymore. I very seldom drink. Oh man, I want a Walther so bad. Jim, there's something wrong with your natural. Maker's Mark is just smooth. Early times is good too now. I won't lie. And the green label is good. One day I will have a Walther. And one day I will have an Arasaki too, because I don't have any Japanese rifles. I've got rifles from every major combatant. Well, I did have a Nagant, but I got to get another one of those. But I've got to have a Japanese rifle, or I just ain't gonna feel right. I'm a big World War II military history buff, and I got to have an Arasaki. Oh man. I wouldn't have sold it. I would have pistol whipped him with it, and then I would have sent him down there to the hospital and put him in there for a few weeks so they got him straightened out. Yeah, I want an M1 Garand and a carbine. And there's a place in Alabama, they specialize in Garands. They run anywhere from 800 on up. And I remember when I was a boy going to the local feed and seed store, they had this big old 55-gallon wooden drum just stacked full of them, and they were all like $40, $50 a piece. And now look, you can't even get one for less than about $800. $800 to get you a really good shooter. But if you want a collectible one, you're looking at like $7,000, $8,000. And I've never fired a Garand, but I have fired an M1 carbine, and those things are fun. And actually, it would make a really great deer rifle. God, I'll be glad when deer season's over. I'm so tired of these people on four wheelers. Here it is, 11 o'clock at night, and they're coming down the damn road knowing they ain't supposed to be out, and it ain't even deer season yet. I think I'm gonna make me up a set of cattle trots. Get me a nice big heavy chain and some 20 penny nails, and get a buddy of mine to weld it all together. And when I hear them coming, just walk outside in the dark, because where I live there ain't no street lights. It's pitch black whenever it's nighttime. It's Africa dark, and just spread it out across the highway. And once they go past, I'll just walk back out there and I'll grab my chain and pull it back a couple times of that, and I believe I'll have them fixed, because they'll do this till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, there's a fad here too. Four wheelers in the country where I live, uptown. It's golf carts and gators, or whatever they call them things. And it pisses me off to see them on the road. I can't stand it. Every year, I have to buy a tag to go on my car to be able to drive up and down that highway. But yet, these sons of bitches get out there and they don't have to have one. They don't have to have a driver's license. They don't have to have insurance. They ain't got to have nothing except to put on the gas pedal and some gas in the tank. Now, what kind of fairness is that? I'm paying for them to be able to travel around, and they're not providing nothing back in return. I'd love to have a moped. I'd ride one wherever I went. Where I live, if it's a certain size motor or smaller, you don't have to have a driver's license, a tag, or nothing. But I don't agree with that either. You need to be paying your fair share to take up the upkeep on these roads. You lost your police force last month. Good Lord. How far out in the woods do you live? You must live in a small town that got in financial trouble. I've heard of a lot of places that have lost it. They have a choice, either do without the sheriff's department and the police department, or do without the fire department. So they usually wind up picking the police department and then let the sheriff's department and the fire department stay for a little while longer. Yeah, I understand corruption. We got our fair share of it down here too. Lots of corruption. City managers that go off to these military auctions where they auction off military surplus, and they'll buy stuff that they can't do anything with for they can't get rid of for 5 years, knowing they don't need it. Like a semi kitchen that'll serve 2,000 to 3,000 people. I live in a town in the county that has 10,000 people in it. We've not once used that thing in the last 3 years. 2 more years, they can sell it. And I know exactly who is going to buy it. The one who went and picked it out at the auction. And what does he need it for? He don't. He's just going to take it and he's going to carry it off somewhere else and he's going to sell it and he's going to make it a little extra money for himself. Corrupt little bastard. And if I knew exactly when it was going to happen, I'd wait for him to get about 15, 20 miles out of town, and I'd hide in the bushes and I'd shoot every damn tire out on it, so that way he wouldn't be going nowhere for a while. I have often said I don't like cops. I don't trust them. And there's a good reason right there. There is no reason to have a police force to be so corrupt as to misappropriate government money, which is exactly what they're doing, stealing from us. I ain't got no use for them. I've even seen one guy try to give a DUI to a fellow that was completely damn sober. Don't even take Tylenol, let alone drink. And he swore up and down that he was going to give him a DUI, and the fellow said, "No, you're not." "Well, will you take a field sobriety test?" "No, I will not." "Then I'm taking you to jail for DUI." And he said, "No, you're not. You're taking me to the hospital and you're going to draw blood and we're going to get to the bottom of this. And whenever it comes out that I am completely clean of everything, I'm going to have your ass and your job and your pension. And I will hang your badge across the cheeks of your ass and mount that on my door." Needless to say, he wound up not getting the DUI. But that cop swore up and down he was going to get himself a DUI that night because he just had to get his stats up so he could move on to a bigger town and make more money. He picked the wrong one to mess with. Yeah, you might not ever find out. A lot of that's going to be kept under wraps. We got a police in the sheriff's office, and we don't need half of the ones we got. Man, y'all some crazy people for staying where y'all stay. I'd be settling and moving south or west or somewhere. Either that or I'd be having a gun every 2 or 3 foot away from me, so that way you come in my house, you a dead man. But in my town, with 10,000 people total in the whole county, we've got probably 20 police officers for the city limits that has 2,000 people in it. And we've got probably 15 to 20 deputies for the rest of the county. And we don't have much crime here at all. The most that happens around here is you get a little bit of drug activity, mostly possession, very little intent to distribute or anything like that. If we have a murder every 10 years, it's an amazing thing. And we don't have very many robberies. Might have 2 or 3 break ins a year somewhere. And every 2 or 3 years, we get new police and sheriff's cars. Why? Nobody rides in the back seat. They don't arrest no damn body. But it just don't make no sense to in a town of or in a county of 10,000 people, and it's been 10,000 people since I was born in 1970. It ain't grown, it ain't shrank, it stayed the same. But it don't make no sense for us to have 30 police officers for 10,000 people. the money we could save if we just got rid of about half of them. Or better yet, instead of having a police force and a sheriff's department, just have one and be done with it. The sheriff's department, and let it all be run through that. We don't need a police chief. The sheriff is over him. The sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the county. So why do we need a police chief? We don't. We don't need 30 officers for 10,000 people. I mean, we don't have murders. We don't have robberies. The worst we have is a little bit of pot, and every once in a while, somebody will have some meth or some coke or crack, and there ain't much of that going on around here either. It's just mainly pot. Who the hell gives a damn about pot? It ain't gonna hurt nobody or nothing. In the next 5 years, it's gonna be legal, and all these people will be getting out of prison for pot convictions, and the courts are gonna be flooded with people having their records expunged over convictions of pot. So why can't they see the handwriting on the wall, and just go ahead and get ready for the future? Oh wow, there are some mean, devious people in the world to do what that one did with the murder. We're just waiting on the baby boomers in my hometown to actually get out of the county and city government so that we can actually move forward. Well, we're rounding that up to 38,000. I wouldn't know what to do in a town with 38,000 people. 10,500 in 1970, 10,500 in 2019. Anytime a stranger comes through town, they'll send the prettiest girl after him, so that way hopefully she'll get pregnant and the gene pool won't bottleneck and we'll all run into four-eyed babies and shit like that. Dang, that sounds like Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta's a pretty rough place. Fayetteville, Indiana. Yeah, I could see where that would be a little bit sketchy up there. And to think, you've only got 1,000 more people in your city limits than we do, and all that goes on. But then again, you've got 3 times more people in the county than we do. And Elizabeth is in North Carolina, so I would assume she's somewhere around Raleigh. That's one of the biggest places I can think of there. And that's the reason why I pack whenever I go out of town. Man, I'm glad I live in a small town. I couldn't handle that many people. I'd be eating Xanax by the bottle. I can't stand to be around a bunch of people. Oh, it's getting about time for me to put my gallon of water back in the refrigerator. It's warming up. The 70s were a great decade. Might have been hard with the recession and the oil prices and all that, but you knew who to hate, and that was the Russians. Everything was so simple back then. Yes, sir, I'll take the 70s and the 80s over any decade out there. Unless we're talking music, then then I'm going with 60s, 70s, or part of the 70s, 80s and 90s. Oh yeah, I wish I was 18 again. Man, if I was 18 again, I'd be hell on wheels. And the three channels, and if the president was on, he was on every damn one of them. You couldn't get away from him. And at 1 or either 2 o'clock in the morning, it played the American national anthem, and then all of a sudden, static. They cut it off. Kids today don't know what nothing like that is. And the phone was stuck to the wall. Here comes another one of them damn four-wheeler things. They're going to be going by till 3 o'clock in the morning. And normally on Saturday, I go to bed by 12:30 or 1 and go to church on Sunday, but it don't look like I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. God, I hate them things. If I had a mean dog, somebody just shoot it, and then I'd have to shoot them. Well, no, I wouldn't shoot them. I'd wait till they drove by, then I'd shoot a tire out where they'd die in the car accident. Oh, okay, that's the same one. It's going the other way now. Okay, I thought another one was coming by. No, I haven't. Maybe I should look that up and check it out. If it's funny, I will. Well, Kayla has been known to be with a girl once in a while. I don't know about Sunshine. I never met her. Kayla's straight for the most part, but I know 2 or 3 times she's been with a girl. Oh, Kayla and Sunshine. Kayla is an alias on my cell phone that watches my live streams, and Sunshine is an alias that Elizabeth has on one of her devices that watches. If that's what you're questioning. Well, guys, it's 11:30. I do want to get to bed in the next hour so I can make it to church. Well, I've met Kayla, and she's a cutie pie. And why she picks me as a good friend, I don't know, because I actually went to school with her mom, and we've talked about dating before, and who knows where to go one day. But I do want to get to bed in the next hour, but I want to get that rifle taken apart so I can see what needs to be fixed on it. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I know you probably got to get up in the morning too. Yeah, I do. I've got something for it, but I don't think it's the right one. I think I'm gonna have to get a little something different. Or maybe mix it with some Robitussin. That would be real good. It might make me feel real good too. But I'll talk to you guys later, and you guys have a great Sunday, and we will catch up on the next episode. Mahala, my money. I like my money better. Good night, guys. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for stopping. I appreciate it.